I'm going to show you how to change the router blades out when they get dull. Okay, so first thing you want to check here is when you look at the head of your router bit here, it's got a lot of buildup and junk on this. And also if I'm running my fingernail across this, if you're not getting it where it's grabbing your fingernail that much and it's sliding across, it's getting dull and it's time to replace it, okay? Again, if you're not sure the difference, you get in this drawer. We have our extra ones here. Feel free to peel this off and feel the difference on this versus what's on the router. This should grab more with it being sharper. This should grab less and it should slide off your fingernail more, okay? But again, one of the most common things to tell is you're going to get a lot of burning and gunk buildup on the blade. This one definitely needs replaced. It's very junk, so we're gonna show you how to replace that right now. Okay, so what we want to do, I'm gonna unwrap this so it's out of my way. The cord, put that up there. Now, right here, you're gonna want to loosen this guy. Then this just comes right off. You just turn it until it pops off. Now, in here, it's a little bit, yeah, probably need to organize this a little better, but you got wedges back here. So I'm blowing multiple out because I can't remember exactly what one it is, but I know it's one of these. So we're going to take one wrench, you want to lock it in here. Yeah, and that's the right one. You want to take your other one and you want to lock it here. Now, we want to go counterclockwise to loosen this, so I'm going to push down and pull it at the same time like that, and then that's going to loosen that for me, okay? And then I can finish loosening it with my hand until that comes out. You want to loosen this up enough that I can pull this bit out. It's, as you see, quite far that I have to go. There we go. Sometimes it won't come out, and you have to get it all the way out because it gets stuck in there with a bunch of sawdust and junk. If it gets that bad like it is right now, I would suggest cleaning that out. Yeah, we got a lot of buildup on there, which doesn't help. Okay, so again, you can see it's really dirty and nasty in there. I'm gonna take the blower and clean that out a bit in there. Always good to have clean parts when replacing blades. Makes things a lot easier. Now I should be able to screw this head back in here. Let's get in there mostly on, yep, like that. Okay, so now we're gonna take new head. On here you're gonna notice we got two heads here. You have room for two more as well. If you get to the last one and there's nothing in here, you're gonna want to beat this kanban, and it'll tell the CI team to order a couple more. One thing I should have mentioned though before you beat that is if you get to the last head on this, go check the sharp drawer first in special parts and make sure that they aren't out getting sharp. In reality, you should always have an extra head in here plus what's getting sharp. If you don't, and you're down to all of them, if you do end up beeping this, that's okay, because I'd rather just have an extra couple bits than not enough, because if we run out, that's a problem, okay? But in theory, it's not a bad idea to go check the sharp drawer first in special parts. If you don't know where that's at, just talk to your supervisor or team leader, and they'll let you know. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy out. Again, we're going to take off the plastic. If you look at these bits, so not every shaft apparently has this. So some of this you're going to have to learn by experience. Aha, okay, this one does have it. So I want you to see this. Most shafts should have this line on that, okay? What that line indicates is that's just how far into the router bit you should, or the router you should take the bit. If you go past that line, you're gonna sink it too deep. And what that's gonna do is it'll actually rub more on the router bit and it's gonna wear it out and damage it. You don't wanna do that. If you get it too loose, then it could wobble and then you can damage as well as hurt somebody. So you want to line it up to that shaft. So using this one, I will show you. After you change out a lot of these, you get a little more familiar with roughly where that spot's at. It doesn't always have to be with these ones that the markings are off and it's kind of hard to see. If you need to use one of those others as a reference to go off of, that's a good idea. Okay. As you do this more, you'll get familiar and you'll know roughly where to put that shaft, and it's not an issue. So, I want to see if this one, yeah, that one's pretty corroded. Okay, so now I'm going to insert this guy in here. And then, like I'm telling you, if I'm going off that line, it's going to be about right there. So now, after I've lined up, and then the idea is that line, if it was on the shaft and you can see it, you want it to be right where it disappears, right where it comes through the opening right here. So the shaft goes in this hole, and you want the line to just barely cover up in that hole. And then that's the spot you want to be at, okay? Now, we're going to hand tighten this, get it in play. It's important to do that first because we want to make sure the shaft didn't move on us or anything, okay? Now, after I hand tighten that, I can take my wrenches here. And then we're going to go opposite direction. Oops, I'm going wrong on that. Opposite direction. Go this way to tighten it. And then you do want to do a decent tight on this. Again, you don't have to like super crank it, but you want it decently cranked that it stays in there and it's not going to wobble, move, or fly out when we start routering stuff. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to put the guide fence back on. Now you'll notice inside here, it's got ringlets. Okay, it's got this like little crevice cut out here for these little guys right here. So you got these little, I don't know what you call these, bump pieces of metal, guide metal pieces that help lock it onto this so this doesn't come off. So what you're going to do is you're going to line this part up that's open on the ring here. Just shake it on like that, and then you're going to line it up with one of those metal guys. And then as you see, I can screw it on now. That allows me to screw it on. It's important that you line that up because if you don't, and let's say I try to put it on like right here, see that? I can't get it on. I have to, but if I kind of move it around until I get that ring to get in place, then I can get it to lock, and then I can get it where I need to. So just keep that in mind. If you have a problem, you try to get this on, that's because you don't have that slit lined up with the little metal pieces that are sticking out on your router. Okay, so now next thing we want to do is we got to adjust the height on our new router bit here. The idea is we want it to cut the back piece of this rail or style material without cutting into the front of it. So we're just trying to remove this so that the glass can be put in the back of your door or occasionally drawer front if that's what they're going to use for their glass. So yeah, so over here, this is what we're doing at this table is we're routering out our glass doors and drawer fronts for glass down in assembly so they can put the glass in the back on those. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to get down here. You want to make sure this is flat. You're not rocking. And then I'm going to adjust my blade. See if you can see that okay. I want to adjust it that it drops enough that it's going to cut this off all the way, but it's not dropping down here. Now you'll notice this blade is pretty fat, so I couldn't technically get it to drop all the way down here because the bearing wheel on this would end up getting into my fence, and then I couldn't do anything. But if you did happen to have it out here and you were adjusting it, you could go too far. So again, the main idea is to just make sure this blade is cutting just this off and it's not going down farther and going to cut into this, okay? Into the front of your style route. So that looks like a good spot. So we're gonna put it right there. I'm gonna tighten this back up so it doesn't move on us. And then we're gonna do a test run here to make sure that it's okay. It's not gonna cause any problems. So we're gonna plug this in over here. Again, I would hold on to the router or put it in a safe place that stuff isn't around it, because if somebody forgot to turn it off, it could jump and be a hazard. So I'm going to just hold on to it, plug that in. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on. Shut that off and inspect this. As you can see, we've got a good cut. It's cutting all of this off. It's not cutting into the front. We're also good and tight here. We got no lip going, which means I didn't have anything on there interfering that I was able to get it up close like I needed to. That's the whole purpose of this bearing on the end, is it allows the shaft to only go so far into the stile or rail so it won't eat in too much. This bearing right here is actually going to ride on the edge of your stile here. See that? That's another critical thing to keep in mind here too. You actually want this bearing to be on the front of your stile or rail. If you have this up too much, where it's going to ride like this, you're going to get a crooked, weird cut, as well as it's not going to cut all this off, okay? So not only are we wanting to remove the whole back piece, but we also want to make sure that the bearing is resting on the front there and riding against it like that, okay? And again, depending on where you adjust the bearing, sometimes it might actually cause a cut line into the front here. If you get any weird kind of stuff like that going on, readjust till the bearing's seated properly on that and you're not having any issues, just like that, where I can roll it back and forth. Okay, so this is all good. Don't have to adjust anything. I got it right on the money. So that is how you change out this router bit. Now we're going to do the other router bit and I'll show you how to change that one. So go ahead and stop that.